Do you think it's fair to say that you were one of the higher-ups or a manager in this company, at least as far back as August of 2020?
Yeah, I would say that's fair.
Did you ever notice anything that could have raised any red flags for you?
I think it's important to understand that Jamey was trusted, not just in the department because of how much it had grown over the prior 10 years that I'd been here, but in the community through his political engagements. He was very successful. He was very successful at helping folks get elected. He was very successful at running for office himself and cleaning up the sheriff's office, at least providing that perception that that's what was going on. You asked about red flags. When I came to know Jamey already had cars. Jamey already had money. Jamey has always been this big figure in the community, and that's all I've ever known of him. He has always had multiple jobs, always flipped houses, always did all this work. So it made sense.
No one ever thought that it was too many things for one person to do?
I don't think so, and I think Jamey was very careful about being very to himself to an extent. And I didn't realize this until looking back in hindsight, but we were always kept segregated from each other. Anybody who was important in a leadership position here, we weren't built up as a team. We were built up to play our functions and be at odds with each other. And that was a constant part of the problem with the culture here. When we lost Deputy Chief Noel, Leon, Jamey's brother, that left a leadership void in the number 2 spot for the organization. And that void wasn't truly filled until August of last year when the state police came knocking on the door.
Was there a board for this organization before August 2023?
If there was, I wasn't aware of it.
Was there a treasurer for this organization?
I couldn't speak. If there was, I wasn't aware of it.
It's just hard for the public to accept that answer that, there was a leadership change, and I can't speak about anything that happened before the leadership change. I mean, do you understand why people are frustrated?
Absolutely. I understand why people are frustrated. But, Jamey had this perception put out there that this was his business. He ran it very close-knit, and that's how it was. And if you veered off the path that you were put on, then you were let go.
And that happened?
Oh yeah, we've had plenty of people in leadership positions leave over the years.
When August 2023 happened and Jamey's house was raided, how quickly did things start to change here in this building, or did you still didn't quite have the power to remove him at that point?
Oh no, and don't misunderstand. In August of 2023, I don't think there was enough people here who really believed there was something going on. It wasn't until November that I realized something wasn't adding up, and even then, there was nobody to go talk to about it. I had to pull another member of the organization out of the station into my car to have that first conversation of, hey, I think there might be something actually wrong here.
But in August, you were able to convince Jamey to add more people to the leadership structure?
I think Jamey himself realized that there had to be a clear succession if this, and obviously he knew that this was all going to come to a head and start crumbling.
But you were willing to step up, and you saw that it could potentially be you leading this organization, and you were excited about that?
Well, absolutely. I've spent my whole career here at New Chapel EMS, and we've worked to better the organization over time. Looking back, we could have accelerated that a whole lot had we known what resources really were available. But there's a lot of people here that have put their soul into this community, caring for people, working in public safety, who just want to do their jobs and be successful at it. And I think that's a lot of what's getting lost here, is that this organization is the victim of someone who used and abused so many people in the community, so many people that put their trust in him either as a public servant or as an employer, and all we want to do is go out and help people. We were on very shaky ground financially. We were able to cut off the credit card payments. We had to make some internal changes on how we approached our billing practices. And today we're in a much better financial situation, but there's not millions of dollars sitting around somewhere. The only millions of dollars are in these vehicles that Jamey bought that currently are in the hands of the ISP.
Starting in February, when you took full leadership of the organization, was it a complete rebuild of, what did you have to do to be able to move this organization forward?
We made some major changes in our billing practices almost immediately. We also implemented 2 new positions strictly for education. We took 2 of our members off the truck and designated 1 for EMS education, 1 for fire education.
Are you preparing to potentially lose more coverage area or more money?
So we've been very clear with our employees that I think the landscape for EMS in the region is going to continue to change. Our mission as an organization is to help foster that change so that it's positive for the community, so that we have a stronger EMS system overall, and New Chapel EMS will continue to be a part of that in some way. There's a group of people here who are here because they know that this organization has the potential to help aid in that mission, and they've always known that that potential was here. What we didn't know is why we were held back from reaching that potential a little bit sooner.
Do you want to say, I'm sorry? Or do you feel like you don't have to apologize?
I don't know that I am sorry, because there should have been something that got this attention well before it devolved into what it is. And I'm somebody who was very close to Jamey, and professionally and personally, and I didn't see these things. And I don't know how that's possible. I don't know how we got here. I considered him a mentor. There was a lot of people in this community who really believed in what he stood for, and nobody anywhere saw the type of betrayal that we now look back and see was there all along. And that's been a lot to deal with, but it's not been something that even personally I've been able to work through, because we're trying to keep this system together. There's things that we should have had for this organization and our providers all along, like upgraded equipment, better ambulances to run in, nicer stretchers for patients to ride on, better protocols for our paramedics to work through. And we were always told, even the fire departments, more crews to fill fire trucks. And we were always told that can't be because we can't afford it. And that wasn't true. We were lied to for years. We've ordered equipment to hold ourselves more accountable on vehicle locations. We've ordered more equipment to provide for better patient outcomes when it comes to a cardiac arrest. We're taking the steps we feel are necessary to show that we want to do the job right. Give us that chance and support us while we get through everything that's gone on. My wife and I run a small business separate from this, and I was discouraged from pursuing that because that could look bad. But was I discouraged from that because he was looking out for my interest, or was I discouraged because if I have a successful business, that might give me some more independence from everything that I have, my family depending on this place?
No one wants to hear, I lost a friend, my friend lied to me for years, and no one wants to hear that in the public, but that is what's going on for a lot of people.
It is. Look at what's come out about these affairs. I can't imagine what his family's going through, and as close as we were, I had no idea that those things went on. But how is that possible? I understand when people in the public say, well, how did Matt Owen not know? How could there not be more people at that organization involved in this? I think those are valid questions, and I don't know how to address them than to open myself up to a community meeting or a sit-down interview or anybody else who wants to come in here and see what we're doing.
State police have accused Jamey of layering and kind of creating shell companies And you know, we have the Utica Township Volunteer Fire Department. We have the Utica Township Volunteer Firefighters Association. We had New Chapel Fire Department. We have New Chapel Fire and EMS. I know New Chapel Fire is gone, but I believe you are still have it 3 organizational names. Mm-hmm. Is that a problem? Does that need to stop?
No, I think that's something that has to be cleaned up. I think that looking back, there had to be a reason for that separation. I think it probably had a lot to do with public funds. All of the abuse and the fraud that we see is out of this silo of revenue generated through medical billing. And the things that he did to this organization, he did to this organization.
Do you think it was fair to call the organization a nonprofit under Jamey Noel?
I think Jamey Noel used it as his personal bank account.